Praise and glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone that have taught us this truth, and to include the elder bishops on down, and overall to you Akim out there that is sincerely pushing this truth of the hopeful elect as well as we believe that we are. And it's your brother Laban. And what I want to do is I want to get into some news that intrigues me and should intrigue you as well, because you know what we specialize on. We specialize on the Motb prophecy, and we specialize on prophecy, period. Because that's what it's all about. It's all about the prophecies that were foretold and that were seen by the prophets. And so now we speak on these things. So anyway, right about now, and it's each and every time the day passes by, we're closing in to the Motb, which is going to be that implantable device, that chip is going to be made mandatory. Okay. So while these other camps are saying what they feel and what they think Revelations 13:16 is, straddling the fence, when it really hits home, when this comes to pass, there's going to be a lot of discombobulation amongst these various camps, and whole camps are going to be dismantled because they didn't take heed to the 100% of the truth, the counsel of the Lord. All right. And guess what? The real prophets are going to be pointed at, and it's going to be who they call the Bamalite camp. So let's get into it. Bill Gates boasts new electronic tattoo system will eradicate non-compliant with Agenda 2030. While everyone is looking the other way, Bill Gates is working feverishly behind the scenes to kill off smartphones and replace them with a new technology, electronic tattoos embedded under your skin. And this reminds me of what Ericsson Ludmark said. I believe he's the CEO of Nokia, right? I think if I'm correct, I'm confident that I'm right. Ericsson Ludmark, he mentioned that the day is going to come, and many others, which is in the tech world behind the scenes, they've said this, that the phones are going to be in your hand. And what was he really basically telling you? Because in every phone you have chips. You have the internet chip, and you have chips that actually are responsible for storing data, downloading your apps, and these sort of things, right? So all of that is going to be in the skin. And this is something that we've been talking about for years. Beginning with the elder apostles and the elder bishops, we've been telling you. So while you was lollygagging and messing around, we were telling you that this is what's going to happen. And it's soon to comes. And it's going to be looking like we're right on this one. All right. Everyone has a breakdown and interpretation. And I'm talking about the interpretation for Revelation 13 and 16. But there's going to be that one interpretation which will be true. Let me say it that way instead. So as this reads, Bill Gates boasts new electronic tattoo systems. Just to read this again, man. Will eradicate non-compliance with Agenda 2030. While everyone is looking the other way, Bill Gates is working feverishly behind the scenes to kill off smartphones and replace them with new technologies, electronic tattoos embedded under your skin. According to Gates, life as you know it will soon be impossible without 1. Digital IDs fused with your body, a modern mark of the beast controlling access to everything, work, travel, money. And we've been warning about the Elite's beast system for years, and now it's coming to life. Question is will you resist or be forced to comply? And so we have been doing the same for years, warning Israel about this particular prophecy. So those that want to mess around with the interpretation and what it is are going to be found confused. And he might wind up falling victim to taking that mark. If these individuals don't repent and cut it out. So anyway, what I want to do is I want to show you this video. And this woman goes into it, this Moabite woman, and I've checked this video out as well. And we're going to play 6 minutes into this video. And at the end of this video, Lord willing, this was edifying. So let's go all the way back here. Salakia. And let's play this.
This is the latest photo I took with my parents, and it was 4 years ago. My parents may look young, and yeah, that's why I look young. They are already in their late 60s now. While I am standing next to you, their only child is 7,000 miles away from them. Since the outbreak of the pandemic, the time and cost to travel between the US and China has become entirely unaffordable. I am left feeling desperate for any information about my parents' health and well-being. I have probably purchased almost every smartwatch and health monitoring wearable for my parents. While they may have fancy apps and may claim to measure almost everything, they all manage to end up in one unassuming cardboard box, which my parents said they may still be able to find if they look hard enough. The truth is, state-of-the-art wearables cannot measure vitals well enough for medical diagnosis or even to professionally advise our daily activities. That is because our body is a very complex system that cannot be represented by information collected solely from our wrist. Just like we cannot say our car is in a perfect condition if it only has sensors in its tires. Our body constantly emits electrical, mechanical, thermal, and biochemical signals from head to toe about our health, status, intentions, and emotions. For example, electrocardiogram, or ECG, is the electrical signal from our heart, and it can be measured by conductive electrodes attached to the chest. Put fingers on our chest, we can feel our heart pumping, and the mechanical vibration sensed by our finger is called seismocardiogram, or SCG. When under mental stress,
which the word gram goes back to the word to write. So they'll be able to actually be able to monitor your cardio, which means your heart. Cardiogram, which means cardio, which means the heart, of course, and the word gram, which means the right. So they'll be able to actually see again in detail what condition your heart is in. And then they'll be able to, of course, do the same with your brain waves. Read your brain waves. So if you're thinking a negative thought, they'll be able to detect a possible crime that you may commit. And this is where we're at right now. I just wanted to say a few words which came to my mind after she said what she said. Let's continue on.
Which can be indicated by the electrodermal activity from our palms. I can tell you that my palms are quite damp right now as I am speaking to you. The more data we can collect from our body, the more precise we can build a digital twin of our body in cyberspace.
And this is where you get the term biometrics from, which the word bio, which means one's life. Like, for example, a celebrity, they'll have a biography written about them. What does the word biography mean? Their lives written out before you. So when you read about them, you get to know their life or their life story. So with the biometric tech that Esau has in preparation, they'll be able to read every aspect of who you are, from your medical data, from your identification data. Every single thing about you that's important is going to be in tandem with your government, and your government is going to be able to get access to who you are more efficiently. Okay, this is where they want to take things, and this is where we're at right now. All we really need is a good enough scenario to move people quickly towards this new world order system. Chaos. Some sort of chaos needs to be ensued. Case in point, when the COV era dropped, that brought us quicker and closer to their agenda. So how much more another psychological operation?
Or to revolutionizing our future in mobile health, personalized medicine, human-robot interface, and even metaverse. Imagine a future where medical examinations can be conducted in the comfort of our own homes, with personalized treatment plans formed immediately without long wait for medical appointment or hospital trips. Also,
Yeah, so you don't have to go to your local hospital for treatment. You don't have to get professional help. All of that you can get just by you having that implantable device on you. Like nowadays, and people have been doing this since the 2010s, shopping online and getting the full amount of their groceries online. So, people have become, of course, more relying on for, again, almost pushing 20 years now. So it's safe to say people have become more lazy. So with this device, I mean, what's wrong with it again? And that's just how people are going to view it. And also, what I want to mention too, I don't want to get off topic, which is within the topic. But if you look at this thing here, because we have to be open-minded, right? Now, for years, we've been seeing what the mark of the beast could be, as they've shown a device that looks like a grain of rice, the size and the shape of it. But what if Esau comes up with something like this? And if he does, then it's going to be something that you cannot reject. That's how they're going to very well present it to you. Again, this devil is very cunning and crafty. So when they push this thing to you, it's going to be considered crazy if you reject it. Like, now, really, like, what are you hiding if you reject this thing? Maybe you are a potential T, and we may have to basically put you in a concentration camp, like something equivalent to Alcatraz, because, bro, like, this is something that's very simple that you can just take. It's just a stamp. Like, people get tattoos all the time to include. So what's wrong with this stamp? It's under skin. It doesn't hurt. It's nothing to do with an injection. All you got to do is get a stamp on it, and you'll be tied to the system. You'll get various benefits. We'll give you extra credits, and your life would be much more better than it is right now. This is the ultimate solution from your problems, which the problems that you have, it was caused by the many doggone way. Okay? So why would you want to reject this thing? Come on now. So that's how this devil could very well present it to you, man. Because remember, the scripture says he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive that mark. So Esau is going to get you psychologically. And that's what's always worked. It's various forms of guile. All right? That's how they were able to get your way. Like, you've had a couple of men that have said in IEYC, oh, yeah, they're going to force the chip on you. No, they won't force a chip on you. The way they're going to get you to get that mark is using psychology. Okay, these devils specialize in psychology. Psychology is what works, and it's more effective than actually forcing someone to do something. Just like these trends. So you don't need to force people to do what you wanted to do. Just fuck with them psychologically, and there will be that new form that you want them to be. But don't make them aware of the psychological games, because now you can't change them from one frame to the next frame. These devils are playing a frame game on people, man. But people don't know about it. And that's how it works. You don't know about the changes that these devils are bringing forth through trends. All you know is, oh yeah, this is just something new. Oh, I gotta get with the new wave. A future personal robotic assistant can immediately understand us through just eye contacts or hand gestures without typing or speaking. The question is, why don't we already have wearables that can measure vitals or biometrics from any part of our body with medical grade precision and long-term comfort? Why we can already wear computers on our wrist, but not medical sensors in our everyday life? Computers on your wrist. That is because of a fundamental challenge in material science.
Electronics are rigid and planar, but our body is soft and curvy. These two just don't like to stick to each other. As a result, there are only limited parts of our body, such as the wrist or the fingers, where we can strap or clip rigid pieces of electronics, such as smartwatches or oximeters. The interfaces formed by those rigid devices and our skin are loose and floppy. Therefore, the signals are inaccurate or even suffer from bigger noises when the wearer is under active motion.
So for one, it's uncomfortable. What she's saying is when you wear these these rigid devices, for one, is uncomfortable and the sensories don't work effectively. So what she's gonna say is that if you can create a device that go along with the skin, that is just closely related to the skin and how the skin is, now we're talking. The sensory is going to be much more stronger, and at the same time, it's going to be much more comfortable for you. And that's what these devils have searched out. All right.
Achieve an intimate but non-invasive interface with our skin.
Absolutely. And that's another key word that she used, because that's what they want us to be. They want us to be intimately connected with the tech. Now you got simple-minded people that will think of the word intimacy in regards to sex. No, intimacy don't just mean that. Intimacy just means that you are close. Let's just say you have an intimate relationship with a friend, meaning someone that's close to you. You know, you're having that emotional contact with one another, building relations. All right. Matter of fact, let's look up this word intimate. Let's look it up. The word intimate. Right. Intimate, from the 1630s, close acquainted. Very familiar. Also inmost, intrinsic. From Latin, intimatus, make known, announce, impress. From Latin, intimus, inmost, innermost, deepest. So now let's go down to the point. So you have the word from pi root in, with the superlative ending to miss, as in ultimus, last. Here denoting close, associated with, hold on, wait there. Yeah, so let me think this thing through. Let me think this thing through. So how can I make sense of this word? Yeah, so we know that the word in is obviously what it means, which means in. And ultimus is they have last. So I would say just bear me for 1 minute, because I'm trying to make sense of the word here, because they got these words and sometimes, you know, yeah, they're correct, but they go off. Intimate, to make known in. Known in. To have an inner connection with somebody, right? So when you're spending a lot of time with someone, especially the most effective time to spend with somebody to really get to know them and to have that connection, is if you're going out with them and you're going out to eat, you know, you're having your hobbies with this person. So when you do those kind of things, you build an intimate connection. Okay. So they have here in, and then you have the word Timus or ultimus, which means last. So what they're saying is it means last in. But just to make sense of the word, for those that are watching, and of course myself, I would say that the word would have to mean known in. Known in. The word in and the word tomos, which means to know. And I'm just using the words, or we can even use another word. Close in. But let's go with the word known in. Let's go with that word instead. Because when you're doing like certain things with a person, especially when you're eating, you're getting to know them from within. All right. That's the best way I could really put it to make sense of it. So with this technology, what they want us to be is they want us to be in tandem with this new world order, this AI technocratic system. So if we have a wearable device that's very fitting to how our skin feels, the Sentry is going to be more effective, and it's going to be a lot more comfortable for us to wear. So much so that we won't even know that we actually have it on our skin. It's just going to be a part of our life. That's what these devils want. Okay, so instead of us wearing these rigid gadgets, like for example, your phone, if you were to tie your phone, let's just say you have a rubber band, right, and you tie your phone to your wrist, it's going to be uncomfortable, man. Or even a watch. A watch is, some people, is uncomfortable. And even if it is comfortable on your wrist, sometimes it does get uncomfortable because it's a rigid device. So what Esau has done, he searched out, okay, how does the average skin, what is the average skin made like? So let's try and make a wearable device that reflects how the skin is and what it's made out of, to a degree, if you get what I'm saying. So then that way the Sentry could be easily read, and it's going to be mad comfortable on you to the point where you don't even think about it. You don't even know it's on you. Okay, so let's play some more of this.
Better than a temporary tattoo sticker. The interfaces formed by those rigid devices and our skin are loose and floppy. Therefore, the signals are inaccurate or even suffer from bigger noises when the wearer is under active motion. To achieve an intimate but non-invasive interface with our skin, there's nothing better than a temporary tattoo sticker. The sticker should be soft, thin, lightweight, well conformed to our skin, unobstructive to motion, and can be easily peeled off when we are done with our measurement.
And it's not going to be peeled off, because the way that these devils are going to have already made this implant to work is going to be infused in the skin, which ties into prophecy.
As a mechanical engineer by training, I start to question whether it is possible to transform conventionally rigid and planar electronics into the form factor of a temporary tattoo sticker.
And just to include, these devils, they don't want you to wear a wearable that you can take on and off, because they want to be able to track you 24/7, 365 days in a year. That's the kind of way they want control over us. They want to be able to data track us in every step of the way. Just to include.
Well, we know that 3D compression springs are stretchable and compressible even if they are made out of intrinsically stiff metals. Following this inspiration, if we cut a piece of aluminum foil into a meandering ribbon like a 2D spring, it would become a stretchable conductor. In the lab, my coworkers and I have replaced the aluminum foil by silicon and gold nanomembranes and scaled it down by 100 times to create a sensing circuit that is as soft and stretchy as our skin.
Absolutely. And the word epidermal, which means the outer skin or the upper skin, the word epi means upper, And the word dermal means skin. So what they could very well do is this, as she's explaining, again, this is how they're going to make it comfortable, because if it's built like this, it's going to be somewhat uncomfortable. But if you stretch it, it's more going to be more easily to be enjoined with the skin, or in conjunction with the skin. It's going to make it more comfortable to be wear.
When placed on our skin, the circuit behaves like a secondary epidermis,
right,
without causing any mechanical perception.
Right. So it's going to be, as she said, it acts as a secondary dermis. In other words, your skin. So that's what they want, man. They want you to be in league with the system, physiologically and biologically. So now let's go into the prophecy in the book of Revelations. What is it? What we talking? Let's begin by reading verse 14. And deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had a wound by a sword and did live. Now the power, as to why they're able to do all of this stuff, is by the power of Shaitan. Now let's read this as well. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 9. Even him who's coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. And this is why they cater to the dark side, to the left-hand side, as well as we will say here, by conjuring up spirits, as they are witches and warlocks, to get answers and to be able to do things beyond what man can do. And the Lord allows it. Why? Because it's so that his will can be fulfilled on the left-hand side. Both sides are working simultaneously. So where it concerns the left-hand side, the Lord is going to allow this devil to get up to a point where he's reached his set. And once the set is reached, now he's going to go down. It's equivalent to the sunset. When the sun sets, the sun goes down. Okay? And we head in towards the next day, which is the evening. Or should I say, when the sun sets in the evening, that's the next day. So as this reads, verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he caused of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. And that's why down here in the UK, this universal basic income is becoming a thing that we all have to get into. Okay, if you're receiving benefits, it has to be on that universal basic income. That's what's happening right now, because that universal basic income is going to be in tandem with your digital ID, which your digital ID is going to be linked in with your chip. So anyway, the word Satan, since we've just read this over here, 2 Thessalonians 2 and 9, the word Satan means to be adverse or the adversary. Now let's look at this word adversary. So from the late 14th century, contrary, opposing, from Old French adverse, antagonistic, unfriendly, contrary, foreign, as in Genevieve, infidel, race, from the Latin adversaries, turned against, turned towards, fronting, facing, figuratively, hostile, adverse, unfavorable, which reminds me of what the Lord said about Esau and how he hated Esau, how he loved Jacob and hated Esau. Okay? Because Esau is the adversary of life and creation, which is of the Father. So then that would then mean, again, he is a Satanist. He is in league with the spiritual demon Shaitan. So the word ad, which means to, and the word verter, which means to turn. So to turn back. And you know what this shows too? Guys that come into the truth and turn back are Satanists. That's really what they are. You know, guys that come into this knowledge and then turn their back towards the Most High They're Satanists. They become the adversary just based off of the word itself. That's why the scripture says it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. All right. So that's why we got to continue with prayer that the Lord has mercy upon our souls, and that spirit that he has placed upon us continues to be with us. You know, Psalms 51. Yeah, so the word verter, which means to turn. Yeah, so it just means to turn, which ties into the word rebel. Let's look up that word rebel, which means back to war. So when you turn back, again, you're a Satanist. And when you turn, what are you turning towards? You're turning towards the Most High. You're going, meaning you're at war with the Most High. Let's read this as well. Rebel, from the word back and from the word belir or bellium, which is, I believe, that's the Greek way of saying, which means war. So when you turn back, you're turning up against the Lord. So you're going to war against the Heavenly Father, against his will. And the scripture says, woe unto you that striveth against your maker. And that's what Esau is. Esau is a striver against the maker that made him. Whether it's his fault or not, the Lord created him to be this way. He is the devil. He is the quite contrary against righteousness. That's just how it is. But the Lord is going to make a grand example of this vessel that he has created. So what I want to do is I want to continue to read down in verse 3. This reads, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except their coming or falling away first. And that falling away came right around as the time of, 60 to 70 AD, when you had the first Jewish-Roman wars. Something that Yahushua even prophesied about to the Jews. He said to them, look, there ain't going to be one brick together, because what was going to be had is the abominations of desolations which would come, which represented the Roman generals, which was Titus and Domitian, right? Vespasian, which was his two sons, Titus and Domitian. You know, they would set themselves against Jerusalem by sending those soldiers over there to bring an end to the Israelites. So that was the falling away. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. The son of perdition is Esau, which the word perdition, which means destruction, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, and so that he is as the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High, right? Which ties into Ezekiel 28. And I think this is what the Apostle Paul was alluding to as well. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, which Esau comes in the spirit as, thus saith the Lord power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of the Most High, and in the midst of the seas. Yet thou art a man. Well, actually, Esau is the prince of Tyrus, which I believe Tyrus was another place in Babylon. Let's look that up real quick. Matter of fact, let me first look it up in the blue letter. Yeah, Tyrus. Yeah, Tazarah, Tazarah, the Phoenician city on the Mediterranean coast. Yeah, so what I want to do is let me go on to Google and let's check where Tyrus is at exactly. Biblical Tyrus. Oh, they got this wrestler here, man. I ain't been keeping up with wrestling in years, man. I don't even know who these guys are. biblical city. Yeah, okay. Tyre. Yeah, because right, exactly. It goes back to the place called Tyre. Should have known that. Also known as Tyrus, was a prominent ancient city in Phoenicia, located on the Levant coast near modern day Lebanon. Right. Okay. Con. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So we got that. So now let's go back to Ezekiel 28 again. Yeah, it actually speaks on that. Strong's definition, Tyrus. Yeah, so we're going to continue. Verse 3. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel, and there is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. And by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased, and thy riches and thine heart hast lifted up because of thy riches. And by traffic, that's how they were able to really garner their wealth and strengthen themselves economically. Now, Jake, offer the blood, sweat, and tears and the labor that Jake put into America is why America became what it became. Because prior before slavery, a little prior before slavery, America was in the dumps. So they had to get Jake from wherever they got us from, whether they got some of us from Europe, the bulk of us from West Africa, is so that we can work the land and build them up financially, economically. And ever since we've been on the shores of America, we've been in slave-based conditions. Now, you got some Jakes that are doing well in this economy, but the very few Jakes don't represent all of us. All right? For the most part, we ain't doing too good. We ain't doing good at all. And if you have a very few Jakes that are millionaires versus the amount of crackers that are millionaires, it's paling comparisons. It still shows how bad we're doing. All right. So we're still at the bottom, man. Therefore, thus said the Lord power, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. Behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. And yes, we are at the bottom now, but the Lord is going to exalt us later. Okay. But we're not going to be brought up when this devil is brought up. This devil is going to be brought down first. Again, thou shalt bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. So the strangers that it's talking about are these other nations that's going to rise up against Babylon, aka America. And America is going to be nuclearized. And then that's when our people are going to be on the come up simultaneously. So we're going to go from being slaves to being rulers over these nations that enslaved us. All right. So because Esau has this God complex, which is the loftiest way of thinking, the greater his fall is going to be due to that pride that he got. Isaiah 26 and verse 5. For he bringeth down them that dwell on high. The lofty city, he layeth it low, and he layeth it low even to the ground. He bringeth it even to the dust. The most proudest cities, or the most proudest society that it's ever been, is the American society. Hands down. They're even proud against their own fellows. Against the Europeans. So much so that even the European nations don't even like it. They're allied together, as it is declared, but they're basically so-called allies, which are going to turn up against them in the latter end, in this nuclear war. Revelation 17 talks about that. All right. If you can receive it. The way of the just, Salakia, the foot shall tread it down, even the feet of the poor, and the steps of the needy. Isaiah 26 and verse 6. So the steps of the needy is talking about us. So we're going to basically overtake those that have reaped off of our labors. The sowers shall overtake the reapers. And we're going to take what's ours that was stolen. All right. And Esau is going to be to a bunch of nobodies. So again, like I've said, once they come with this tech and make it mandatory, which is the mark of the beast, this place is going to go belly up in the flyers. And those that go along with this beast, they're going to go into the fires as well. All right. And that's all I have to say with this, man. I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekah HaKodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone with this. And I say Shalom.